It was great, mashallah, and it still is great. I'm sad that we didn't make a big show. Almost. I think every HBCU was there. Okay. All the black churches sent a representative. And when I say that, I mean like their group sent a representative. They sent, there's a representative there, a couple of representatives for 1,000 African churches. That's a significant number. There's bishops there. It's very, very, turn off your phones, guys, please. It's a lot of argument. Alhamdulillah, good, healthy argument. Necessary argument. The first thing they ran on the board was, hey, what are the things why are we separated? Why are we divided? Let's talk about it. First thing the African guy said is because you guys call yourself African Americans. I said, what a way to start.
Wow. That was in your wheel well.
I said, whoa.
What does he want us to call ourselves?
Africans.
But where?
And then what do you call it? They said that that was good. That was great because that's exactly how it went around the room. Not the room. We talking about a convention center. Okay, so what do you want us to be? What should we call? You said the only reason you call yourself African Americans because you don't want to be called African. You think that like you better than us. And then somebody stood up. That was me. And I said, no, there's a two-way street there, brother. There's some you guys sometimes treat us like because of slavery we're not African enough. Somebody was like, touche. It was going around. So the Dr. Kamara, Muslim brother, he's the chief, the professor of African studies at Howard. Howard was in there strong. So they were saying, look, take your DNA. Because he says, one guy said, you guys say African, like that, but it's a joke. And somebody was like, just like you said, You hear the Americans were like, And another guy stood up and said, that's right, because when we say African where, you don't even care. You don't even know. No. So somebody said, well, how are we supposed to know? How it was like, take your DNA, brother. Take your DNA test. The governor's office stood up. Lady, I forget her name, light-skinned lady. She said she just married a Nigerian guy a couple of years ago, but she's the chief of staff for the governor's office. She stood up. She said I took my DNA test, and because she said she was always kind of like had a problem being high yellow, thinking that she was the white man and stuff like that. My mother was high yellow. She told me the same thing. So she got more racist growing up in Georgia from black folk than she did from white folk. They would call a little white girl, what I'm saying, some white man's toy or something like that. And she ain't got no, white man. So, I'm sorry. So she said that she was in a relationship with this Nigerian guy. And he told her, look, you got to find out who you are. How you get married? You don't even know who you are. You ain't ready to get married. You know what I'm saying? I can't take you home to my people. How am I going to introduce you? Who am I going to say you are? I said, powerful, man. So she took her DNA test and found out she was Nigerian. So, he said, so before we get married, this is her telling the story. She said, we got to go back home so I can show you where I'm from. So you know what to expect, and so you can come back where you're from. And they went back. She said she saw so many high young girls there. She said she just felt so much better about herself. You get myself? Yeah. And it was awesome. Really, really awesome. They have a group of people who they stood up and did that was just one of the arguments. Okay, they said, well, what are we going to do? And then they started talking about the other problem. We don't communicate. We have stereotypes. We run into foibles because we miscommunicate. So what has to happen? Got to communicate. Well, there's too many African languages and stuff like that. He says, nah, they broke it on the board. Nah, you can break Africa down into 3 spots. The North is going to speak what?
Arabic.
Arabic, well, actually, Arabic is the most spoken language in Africa. It's admitted to. But, of course, you know our Christian brothers are not going to accept that. Right?
Right.
We got to be realistic.
No, it's
Africa is 47% Muslim. Okay? And the 40-something% Christian. And in between there is something else. Okay? So we're about equal across the boards when it comes to that type of thing. So we shouldn't expect them, and they shouldn't expect us. So they said, look, in the north, and they said, well, we're not really interested in learning Arabic. Why? Because we're really dealing with Africans south of the border. I thought that was a nice statement. You get my point? South of the Sahara, basically. Because most of the Arabs didn't show up, meaning the Berbers, the upper Arabs, only the people of color. You know, well, it's not like they're not people of color either. I shouldn't say that. You get my point? But they didn't show up, you know. Plus, they don't have Christians in those areas. Very, very few. Mauritania is 100% Muslim. You get my point? So, and in Morocco, you have Jews in the north that have been there since the Spanish Inquisition, but they don't come south. So, they say, okay, if you're from, let's say, South Egypt, right, all the way down to Angola, learn Swahili. If those are the African regions that you're going to be dealing with, learn Swahili. Central African Republic, South Africa, East Africa, you've got it covered. Now, if you're going to be above that, that's West Africa. Well, now you got two things. If you're going to be dealing with the Muslims, it's going to be Hausa. No matter what people you deal with, the Muslims in West Africa speak Hausa. If you're going to be dealing with the Christians, Yoruba. No, we're not. No Eurocentric languages. Okay? No French, no English. That's the problem. You know, we have to speak one of our tongues. So Yoruba for that, Hausa for that, Arabic for the north, and Swahili for the rest. You know?
even for East African, Tanzania.
That's all Swahili. That's all Swahili. You know? No, it's really, Swahili is very easy because it's an African, it's an Arabic language. It's actually just a mix between the Bantu and the Arabic mixed together. So it's very, very.
Who are the Bantu people?
Bantu people, Shaka Zulu.
But they traveled.
Because Shaka Zulu tried to make the United States of Africa. Okay, so he conquered. And when he conquered, people that were running from that, refugees went up. And so that's why Bantus, you'll find almost most Africans have some Bantu in them.
Yeah.
You know, some percentage of Bantu. And that's because the Bantu, they call it the Bantu migration. The Bantus, you know, moved up, you know, like that. So Allah knows best, you know, but that's that whole southern central area like that, okay? Allah knows best.
34%.
What, you got 34% Bantu?
Cameroon, Congo, and
Cameroon, Congo,
Bantu
34%, mashallah.
Yeah.
You know, so then Swahili is, you know, be the
25% from England and Wales.
Yeah, that don't count. That part don't count. You know, seriously, you in Islam you don't become family through zina, right?
Right.
So rape and those things don't count. There's no consent. It didn't come through the door.
Right.
My
You know?
family's like 50-50.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah. Mom, next time I go to the bank, though, I'll use that. If you want to say Caucasian.
But India didn't come through though.
The Indian?
Indigenous America didn't come through.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Indigenous Americans.
It's probably going to show up when they show Mongolian and Chinese, Far East Asian. Because on mine it has Far East Asian. I'm part Chinese, Austrian Asian, you know, Filipino, and then they have, you know, Native American. But I figure that's all from the same, you know, peoples and stuff like that. Allah knows best. You know.
Bantu, Congo.
It's Angola, Bantu, Congo, then that whole area, and sometimes it's general Cameroon, you know, southern Cameroon, because northern Cameroon is going to be Afro-Asian, because Cameroon is like right in the middle,
Yeah.
so because they wanted to destabilize that area, and so the northern area is Fulla, the southern area is Bamaleke, okay, and so you'll find there's a difference between those two areas in that type of way. So you would have like a large Muslim population in the north of Cameroon, a whole different ethnic group, and then another ethnic group, Christian, in the southern part of Cameroon. Like that's like the borderline.
There's a lot of Togo Bantu.
Togo, Bantu, but there's not a lot of Togo Bantu, and mostly Togo is Muslim, you know. So well, it's going to be split too, but you still got a lot of Muslims in Togo area, because that's the area where they had the Fulani Wars, you know, that whole area. So, and a lot of people don't look at that, and we don't look at that. At the same time, what's his name? Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab was doing what he was doing in Saudi Arabia. The Uthman Dan Fodio was doing the exact same thing. In fact, they were inspired by each other. Okay? And he speaks about it in his writings that this is, we're going to purify Islam, and he fought the Sufis in that whole area and made it like Sunni, you know, and now you see his descendants, they're Sufis. So that's ultimately the Sufis won. But for the spread of Islam, as far as the practices of establishing the Salah and paying the Zakah and establishing Hajj, they did that at that area, and Togo was one of the main battle areas. You know?
So a lot of those areas, were they originally a part of what we consider today Nigeria?
No, okay, yes and no. You have the Soco Empire, okay? And then you have Benin, the Great Wall of Benin, and
I have on Benin too.
you know, that whole area wasn't, they spoke about this too. They have a professor who talks about West Africa since World War II, which I thought was very interesting. Haven't we been talking about the significance of World War II? I was sitting there saying, I ain't so smart. Everybody's getting the point at the same time. Because we were told World War II was about the Jews, right?
Right.
No, World War II, according to what we were just talking about yesterday, was about who's going to piece up Africa. Because that was the prize. What did they get when they won? Colonies. Right?
Yes.
So it was getting Africa, it was getting India, it was getting trade out of China, right?
Yes.
It was getting the Balkans, you know, so that southern Russian area and everything like that. It was doing those things, chopping it up, taking away the Ottoman Empire and leaving only the body of it, which we call today Turkey. You know, remember, Turkey didn't exist as a state, as a country, until after, well, I think 1919, I think they founded. Otherwise, before that, it was called the Ottoman Empire, the Uthmani Empire, okay? Which is a much better name, you know? So, and they just Anglicized it, Ottoman, so you could hide the meaning of Uthman. Because, you know, who knows that Ottoman meant Uthman? I didn't know until I was an adult. You know, I just thought, what is that? I don't know. But if you said Uthmani Empire, now, of course, that has an Islamic tone to it, because who doesn't know Uthman ibn Affan, right? Even though that's not who they're referring to, you know, but we know that's why the boy was named Uthman,
I
right?
didn't know until just now.
MashaAllah. Okay, so you get my point?
Yeah.
And then after that,
it is part of the Abbasiyin.
no, the Abbasiyin. Now we're talking about, now this is another part. A lot of Americans are not familiar with how Islam divided into Ahl al-Bayt and other than Ahl al-Bayt. You know, and then how the Shia came about and the Khawarij came about and those things. The Uthmani were not part of that dynasty. They took over the Khilafah when the Muslim leaders at that time were just like the drug dealers in the 80s. Super gold, laid back, all this fluff and all this stuff, but not doing their job in protecting the Muslim Ummah. And so the Uthman were asked to take over because you got these weak guys. Every couple of years, they're killing the Khalifa and reinstating somebody else. So the position became very, very weak and not having any substance to it. And so they were officially asked to take over the Khilafah, and they ran the Khilafah for 600 years. And then for another 300 years prior to that, they had been in the politics of it under the Seljuks. If you look at Islamic history, you'll find the Seljuk dynasty or the Muslims, and that grooves into the Uthman. And of course, they had political ties. See, Africa, and studying the history of Africa, Africa has traditionally supported the family of the Prophet, which is our style. You know, we're loyalists. You know, we love our Prophet. We're very soulful. You know, and so that has toned, and that's why people have been tricked into tasawwuf, and that's why the Shia still have a hand. You wouldn't realize it, but the Shia have a hand in Africa. Okay? They're constantly doing things to get people tricked into following that because of the love that we have for the Prophet's family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So all these things,
Synagogue.
not just Senegal is like this compared to what goes on in Ghana. Okay? It has Senegal is clearly on the Sunnah in comparison to what happens in Ghana. You know, and that's again the part of the racism. They say, look at West Africa. They have Sufism. Hold on now. Are you forgetting every one of the Sufis they're worshiping lives in Morocco? But we don't ever point to Morocco for being the super Sufi capital of the world. Where they actually sit there and play with snakes in the middle of the street. Right? Masjids have graves in and you pay to make tawaf. You can hardly find a place in Morocco without a grave. Does that make sense? But we never talk about, all the so-called super Salafi cats never talk about that about Morocco. But I don't want to go to Senegal because they got to. No way, man. No way. That's that degenerate mindset towards your own and not having an experience with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah, the tasawwuf is everywhere. Some of it not as hard as others, some of it not as bad as others. We have to do a lot of studying. When I say that, we need a class. I would love to do it, I love history, to break down the Islam in Africa from Najashi to now.
Let's do it.
That would be a very, very perfect, because it brings you to where it includes you, for you to understand, and some of it is political, some of it is fiery, some of it is hurtful, some of it ain't so pretty, but to understand it, to see where and how we got where we are at today, because it is connected. Another thing they did at the conference is they had some people there who bought they put it up like this. Did you know 41% of all the Africans that came to the United States as enslaved people landed in Charleston Wharf in South Carolina?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, they bought that wharf. They bought the actual wharf and they put a museum on top of it. African Americans and Africans together, along with the embassies, bought that wharf. And in turn, they said that we don't go to, what's the Liberty Bell, the Liberty Lady, Statue of Liberty. We don't go there. Why we go there? We didn't come in. If you go to the Statue of Liberty, where they mention everybody who came in, they have a line there that says forced immigration, and they have African Americans. Because we didn't immigrate here, we were forced immigration. So that's not our spot. They don't got our names there. Other people can go there and find their names. You get my point? So they said we need our own place. What better place than the place that our people first came here? They said 81% of the Africans in the United States and in the United States today can trace a relative to that South Carolina, to that Charleston Wharf. And they said it has a vibe to it. And they showed a real nice, small piece of it to get people to understand the importance of that particular place like that. And it's not just a place to say, they said, look, at the Jews go back. And they mentioned the mention of the Jews. They said, you see how the Jews, no matter where the Jew is from, the Jew could be from France, he could be from New York, he could be from Alabama. But what is he? A Jew. And they don't distinguish. They don't say, oh, you ain't really a Jew. You get my point?
Yes.
And this is, so we have to stop that mentality of, as far as being an African in that regard, okay? And be like, we don't lose our ethnicity, whatever your actual ethnicity is, nor do you lose your religion. But he said we should act, we were all talking, as I said, everybody were talking about that. The resolve was to act as family members with different religions. We're not trying to convert anyone. You get my point? You're just trying to be a good brother, sister, uncle, aunt, whatever, in the context of the relationship. So if I know you're not going to dance and stuff like that and play music, then I'm not going to invite you to do that. To make you uncomfortable, you get my point? To make you say no. So we have to respect our borders. You get my point?
Yes.
And then work within the context of what we can work together. Because we were like, hey, we ain't going to do no interfaith. Because we ain't come together to be doing something that I don't believe in. I'm not compromising on my deen. You get my point? They said, no, and we don't want to compromise on our deen too. We don't want you to call us to salah. You get my point? You know, put me in a position that, okay, let's just stand up, everybody. Allahu Akbar. No, they don't want to do that. And we don't want them to do it. You know?
They can't do it anyway.
Well, a person could see the salah. This has happened. I remember one time we were in Oklahoma and we were offering salah, and a guy walked by. We were at a flea market. A guy walked by and he couldn't take his eyes off us. And then he just ran and he jumped in the line and started praying with the Muslims. Okay? And
A good idea.
yep, and he was thugged out. Okay? And so I was leading the salah. So after the salah, you never know with our people, he could be Muslim. But after he finished, he said, "What was that?" You know,
Alhamdulillah.
he said, "What was that?" And I said, you know, now I'm like, subhanAllah, you know, we call that salah. He said, when I saw it, I knew that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what he said. He said, I have something inside me and I feel it and I'm fighting it. You know what I'm saying? I can see it looking out my eyes. He got a jinn. And I'm fighting this thing and I'm fighting and everything like that. And I keep smoking weed so I could, you know, calm down. He's using drugs because he can't control this jinn. But when I saw what y'all was doing, I said, that's what I gotta do. He became Muslim right then and there. Took his shahada. So, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Now, our problem is we can get brothers to come in, but we don't have no program for them afterwards.
Right.
They go to the masjid and then they get treated like sugar honey iced tea.
Back out.
And they be like, you ain't treat me like that. I'm not gonna kill you because I'm in the masjid. And then they leave. They never come back. Ain't that the truth?
Yes.
You know? And we think we tough. Nah, they just respect the deen. They don't respect us. You know? And then so they leave and they just don't come back, and then we hold the sin of running them away.
Well, I know we don't have any economic plans set up to where we.
It doesn't take economics, it just takes good heart.
Well, it takes good heart.
Because look at the cats in the 70s and the 80s. They had a lot of heart. They didn't have no money.
No, I beg to differ.
They had commitment.
Not only commitment, but we had black communities that had networks and finance.
Network doesn't take money.
But the money, the dollar was being passed around in the community.
Okay, but see,
That takes
networks
money.
leads to money then. You get my point?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying the money comes after the commitment, the sincerity, the network, the communicating.
Love
The-
is first.
it builds that friendship because it's all about the relationship, you know? And once we have that relationship, then I'll spend with you, you know? I'll listen to you. We can go around and stuff like that. So alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, there was so many other things that I could mention that I got to get back. You know, I just came for the 1 hour because I know I don't want to break our class. And then I'm going to drive back to...
So what time does it
What
end?
can we do?
What we can do is, one of the things that, not just we, all of us, we have to network more, because one of our biggest problems is we don't know what we're all doing. Okay? We don't have to be doing what everybody is doing, but if we knew, then we can, you know, choose what we can want to and how we can be involved with it, and we can make sure that we're in it. Because I stood up a lot of times and said, listen, Africa is 47% Muslim. Y'all not carving up the table without including us. Well then, okay, brother, send your people to this room. That one had 10 different workshops. I could only go to 2. You get my point? We needed people to go to the other places so that we can say, okay, we're going to take, this is our place here. This is a majority Muslim place. We got the missionary work here. We don't want y'all doing missionary work in our places. You get my point? Because they say, oh, since there's nobody there, we want to come and build the wells there. No, we'll build the wells there. You know? They even talk about building masjids for us. Now, what shame we got? That the Christians going to go to our people and build a masjid because we won't.
That's sad. That's sad.
That is sorry, man. So we got to get involved and communicate and make sure that we don't get X'd out of and then we wonder why they accepting Christianity. You know, because they see you. They see, not you, but you know, they see whoever they see. And eventually that breaks down. Well, you know, I guess so. Like that. So, alhamdulillah, we just need more people to be at this particular thing. You know, see, the thing about this one, it's not government pushed. Even though the government does have a hand, they want us to be there. You know why?
Why?
When I went to the economic story came up, China is getting all over Africa, right?
Yes.
So the United States don't like that.
We don't
So,
like it.
so that's, no, we don't like it either. But that's their incentive of promoting us and helping us to be there in that place. You get my point?
Yeah.
So we can use that for our benefit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We also had a conversation about citizenship. You know, and why we're not getting citizenship if once we say, let's say 35% Congolese, you know, I should be able to get citizenship.
Are they making it?
Well, again, we talking to the ambassadors. There was some of the conversation we're going to have today about that particular thing, because we said it straight up, y'all scared. You're scared of losing political power. You get my point? And being able to control the people erroneously if we were to be involved in that particular thing. You get my point? And so they can't stop you. There's a thing, they can't stop you once you get your DNA test. You get my point? Now you can go to those embassies and listen, here I have a significant amount of from these people to show that I come from you. Give me citizenship. They got to give it to you. You understand my point?
Yeah.
So, again, do you need that? Depends on what you want to do and what your plan is. For today, that's enough. I said I was 5 minutes. I took too much time. Stuff for the light. Let us get started. Open up well, you don't need to open up no books. I told you guys to read a book a week, right? Now I'm left. Okay, from now on, I don't want that book to be in English. From now on, there's no reading English book for your book a week.
Alhamdulillah.
The book a week has to be
Okay.
in Arabic or a dictionary. This is the book I'm reading this week. I'm going to maybe take me 2 weeks. Now, I never studied Iraqi Arabic. You know why?
Why?
Because I was living overseas. And if I would have been overseas reading Iraqi, studying Iraqi Arabic, what would they have said? He's preparing to go to Iraq.
Right.
You get my... So I said, nah, you can't. No, it's the real deal, brother.
I know.
You know, so I said, nah, I'm not going to study Iraq. I stayed away from anything Iraqi when I was overseas. So I had a neighbor who was the Iraqi, ambassador to Mauritania. I never visited him. Okay? I would talk to him when we would walk to the masjid, but I would never go to his home. So they wouldn't be said that, they can make a good story. They're terrific liars. So this is my first time reading how the Iraq is in Iraqi Arabic is very, very good. Okay? The two schools of grammar come from Iraq, Basra and Kufa. And there are no other schools of Arabic grammar. So to read their book is very, very pristine. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So,
Where'd you get that from?
of the library in North Carolina. So, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. I'm just doing that to show that I'm doing my part too. You know, those who dare to teach must never cease to learn. You know, so everybody here should be getting some books, some reading material. Go to the library, get a phrase book, whatever, and read it from cover to cover. What will that do? That'll give me a headache. And then take a nap. And then that nap will organize those thoughts in your head. And then you think you don't know anything from reading it, right? But once you start to interact and start using some words, other words, you go, I don't know where that came from. Yeah, it came from your reading. The familiarity with it. Does that make sense, everybody?
Subconscious.
Alhamdulillah, now. And then it comes out your mouth in that way. And it's reinforced because you're just running tracks to your memory. Alhamdulillah. Antum tafhamun? Hey, well, now we're back into our Arabic zone here. Assalamu alaikum. كيف حالكم؟ شلونك؟ الحمد لله ما بأس الحمد لله رب العالمين. أيوة الحمد لله. ما اسمكم؟
أنا يوسف. أنا نزيه أبو حكيم. أنا نزيه أبو.
ما شاء الله. أنا أبو توبة مخلص. فرصة سعيدة. ما شاء الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين. أيوة. من أين أنتم؟
من أمريكا. North Carolina.
من الولايات المتحدة.
ولاية المتحدة.
ما شاء الله. فين بالضبط؟ أين؟
Washington DC.
واشنطن دي سي. في داخل واشنطن دي سي نفسها.
بالضبط
على يعني جنب الوايت هاوس.
بالضبط.
لا أنا في Durham.
خور.
لست بالضبط.
لا لست بالضبط. يعني خارج واشنطن دي سي. قولي خارج واشنطن دي سي. خارج واشنطن دي سي. قريب منها لكن خارجها. فهمت؟ Close to it but outside of it. مفهوم؟ أيوة لو سمحتم صف لي مدينتكم. من يريد أن يحول؟ صف صور لي. صور مدينتكم. أيوة نزيه تفضل. صف لنا مدينة.
درم.
أي مدينة تريد؟
في ماضي درم أكبر مدينة في نورث كارولاينا.
ما شاء الله. لا واش. عفوا يعني تفضل.
Yeah, I can say
You'll practice the way you have to practice the way you're going to do it. When we used to do CQB, close quarter fighting, if the guy struck one time and you didn't attack, you started all over. Okay? You have to get your kill move in one move, or you have to start all over. Why?
You might not get another chance.
You're not going to get another chance. Who told you you're going to get another chance? Don't wait for another chance. You get my point? So you have to learn how to take advantage. Okay? You're not going to step up when the going gets tough, like Rocky Balboa, right? He gets, or what's the guy, Hulk Hogan? He gets hit in the head and he starts getting stronger. No, you don't get stronger when you get hit in the head, you know? But you fall back on the intensity of your training. So that's why we're gonna put the intensity of the training so that you get used to doing it the right way. Start all over. تفضل.
سكانها
Not سكانها وليس فيه تبدأ صف لنا مدينتك. عليك أن تقول مدينة الدرهم.
ليس سكانها؟
لا تستطيع أن تبدأ بسكانها. يجب عليك كله.
يجب عليك.
You must.
يجب.
From wajib. I can say wajibun alayk. Right? You have to, right? Or I can say la budda min, you have to. You must. These are other ways of saying it. So I'm saying to you, يجب عليك أولا تقول مدينتي أو درهم هي مدينة كذا وكذا. Right? تفضل. صف لنا مدينة الدرهم.
فيها
كيف تبدأ به فيها؟ لابد أن تقول مدينة الدرهم.
مدينة إن جامعتان أكبر من دوك ونورث كارولاينا سنترال.
يعني كليتان.
جامعات.
أيوة الحمد لله.
So I can't talk about Sukan, huh?
لا I didn't say that. I said you can't start with the word sukanoha. You have to start the sentence with مثلا, for example. The city of Durham is. Because where's the subject? I don't know what you're talking about. You get my point? You just can't start saying it has the certain amount of people. No. What are we talking? Who's it? It has to go refer back to the last thing you mentioned. You never mentioned what you're talking about. Does that make sense? So you have to say, for example, in New York, هي مدينة الطاقة كما قال الشيخ. Or Durham مدينة الطب. لها جامعات أكبر السكان في North Carolina. فهمت?
No.
I want you guys should have prepared this. I said this has to be scripted, right? Did you guys script them? Tell the truth. Let me hear.
No.
Did you guys watch the videos I told you?
Yes.
Yeah.
La.
I did.
No. You have to listen. It's a formula. It's just like a formula or any other recipe. You have to do these things in a time-efficient fashion for it to click. It may not look like it's clicking, but by doing these things, all of a sudden, click, it hits, something drops. Does that make sense? It's like I gave you the example of stretching, doing a split. Like when you first start doing a split, you might just go like this, and you be like, okay, that's it. Right? But after a couple of days of like this, you keep going down wider and wider, and then after a while, you're like, this feels, you start missing it. Okay? You start waiting for that. I missed that stretch. And then one day, your hip, at least for me, all of a sudden it just goes, yeah, and it slides open, and you're like, whoa, that didn't hurt like I thought it would hurt. Now you can't get up.
Honey, help.
My point being that for this is once it clicks, now you can speak. And now something happens, you're like, oh, you get stuck in it, and you're like, people think oh man, you must have been speaking for a long time. No, but now once I start thinking it, I can't get out of it unless I consciously get out of it. Does that make sense? Because your mind has now coded that idea, those concepts in your mind. And so you're just shifting gears. And so sometimes if you're talking, it's probably happened, you're talking to somebody in Arabic and they'll say an English word and you don't understand what they said. Okay, because you're not in English now. So that's a foreign word to you unless you're expecting it. Okay? Once you start expecting it, then you say, okay, I can recognize it. Because now I have my antennas open for allowing that to come inside this realm. Does that make sense, everybody? And that's kind of where you're at right now, where you're letting this in, but now it's mostly English and you're letting some Arabic in. You want to move it more, where it's mostly Arabic and you're letting some English in. And then shifting over, where there's no English unless, there's a necessity for that. Everybody follow me?
No.
All right, let me give somebody else in the hot seat. Tafaddal. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة
كيف حالكم؟
الله بخير.
لا بأس عليك.
ما فهمت.
Aywa, jazakallah khair. La bas alaik is like saying ça va bien, like saying how you feeling. La bas alaik, يعني alhamdulillah,
الحمد لله.
ما شاء الله. ما اسمك؟
اسمي أحمد.
Ahmed bes? Bes means that's it?
أحمد.
Ahmed bes?
أحمد جميل.
ما شاء الله. بارك الله فيك. إن الله جميل يحب الجمال. ما شاء الله. أيوة. من أين أنت؟
أنا من نورث كارولاينا.
ابدأ مرة أخرى. أنا من؟ Start again. ابدأ مرة أخرى. Start again.
أنا من
لا تتوقف. Don't wait. Don't be أنا من. No, practice the statement. أنا من North Carolina. Or أنا من ولايات المتحدة. Don't hesitate. Hesitation? أيوة الحمد لله. تبدأ مرة أخرى. من أين أنت؟
أنا من لينكتون نورث كارولاينا.
أنت من Lexington, North Carolina.
لينكتون.
North Carolina.
أيوة.
الحمد لله. ويعني صف لي لو سمحت. Lincolnton, North Carolina.
أيوة.
من فضلك تفضل. Describe for me Lincolnton, North Carolina, please. تفضل.
It's a good country place.
No, man. Beautiful. It's a little country place. إنها قرية ريفية.
إنها قرية
ريفية.
ريفية.
أليس كذلك؟
نعم.
يعني إنها قرية ريفية. That's what you just said. It's a little country place. Just like that. إنها قرية ريفية. Little country place. Okay? ما فيش كثير من الناس. There's not a lot of people there.
أيوة.
Right? Write it down. Write that down. Whatever, it doesn't have to be New York City. It doesn't have to be Durham. It could be يعني قرية ريفية, a small little town in the countryside.
But I love it.
Yeah. وأحبها
أيوة.
بسكينتها, because of its tranquility, right?
أيوة.
هكذا تقول. That's what you say. So he's going to say to you, أفيها قرية في أمريكا؟ في الولايات المتحدة قرية؟
No.
الصحيح من ذلك, is there a قرية, a small country place in America? أليست فيه ذهب على الأرض? Isn't the ground filled with gold? لا أخذت كلها وجعلتها في قلبي. So I took all that gold and put it in my heart. You gotta talk slick, you know, to describe a place. It doesn't have to be. إنها قرية ريفية. كله.
إنها قرية ريفية.
Hey, welcome. Let me pick on some of the ladies. السلام عليكم يا دكتورة. نعم أنت. نعم أنت. كيف حالك؟ لا بأس الحمد لله رب العالمين. من أين أنت؟
أنا من ميسيسيبي.
ما شاء الله ميسيسيبي. ما شاء الله. أنت من النهر؟ From the river?
لا قريب البحر.
قريب البحر كبيرة. البحر يعني ocean. You know. النهر is this الشاطئ. شاطئ. أنا من الشاطئ. شاطئ. الحمد لله رب العالمين. صف لي ميسيسيبي لو سمحتي. أوه ليس كذلك. Not wise. Come on now, stop, guys. You guys should have been thinking about this. I know I said this. This is going to hold us up. You know, you're stopping progress. You guys have to do your due diligence like your life depends on it. If we're going to hit our target marks, you have to burn the midnight oil. You have to not procrastinate. You know, and not be afraid to fail. Failing is part of winning. Right? So, and failing in the classroom is mustahab. You know, so we can see what we need to practice further. Does that make sense? I don't like a student that's always correct. No, I mean, I have nothing to do. You get my point? There's nothing I have to, I'm doing nothing. You know, I mean, I'd rather them know things we spoke about, remember everything we did, but as we go forward, I like it when they make mistakes so that we can make corrections and then we see the progress as it goes forward. Okay? So, يعني, you sit down with him and يعني شرح له كيف يقول ماذا يريد أن يقول باللغة الإنجليزية بالنسبة لقريته. تقول كلمات ولا جملة لو سمحت. فهمت؟
نعم.
Okay, so you guys step to the side. Inshallah. So everybody has to understand that. Does everybody follow me?
No.
Okay. You ready again? مستعدة؟
نعم مستعد.
أيوة. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شلونك؟ ما هذا؟ ما هذا الصوت؟ يا إيش؟ صوت قبيح لا أريد أن أسمع. السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
كيف حالكم؟
بخير والحمد لله.
لا بأس الحمد لله. كيف زوجك؟
الحمد لله هو بخير.
كيف الأولاد؟
هي بخير.
الحمد لله. كيف الأهل؟
الحمد لله.
أقارب كلهم بخير؟
نعم.
كيف خيمة؟ الخيمة is the tent, the household.
نعم جيد.
الحمد لله الحمد لله ما شاء الله تبارك الله. أيوة ما اسمك؟
اسمي حليمة أم سمية.
ما شاء الله أم سمية تبارك الله ما شاء الله. من أين أنت؟
أنا من الولايات المتحدة.
ما شاء الله الولايات المتحدة.
نعم.
أعطيني نقود. Give me some money.
I don't have it.
لا لا. أوكي الحمد لله. أنت من الولايات المتحدة نفسها؟
لا من.
ليس stop it.
لا.
Take a breath. Instead of saying I'll say Alhamdulillah. Take a breath. You know, destroy a habit by building a habit. Take a breath. Say Alhamdulillah. أنت من الولايات المتحدة نفسها? Exactly.
من.
استغفر الله أعوذ بالله. ما هذه؟ I'm complaining about you.
أنا من ولاية ميسيسيبي.
ولاية ميسيسيبي.
مدينة ميسيسيبي ولاية.
ليس ولاية ميسيسيبي يعني لا بأس. يعني أو تقولين أنا من ميسيسيبي في ولاية متحدة. وما هي ميسيسيبي؟ مكان. I say, what is Mississippi? You say here, مكان. أو ولاية من ولايات المتحدة. ولاية من ولايات المتحدة. فهمت؟ أي والحمد لله رب العالمين. صفها لي لو سمحت. شرح نهرية. يعني on Riverside City. No ums. Take a breath. Don't open your mouth. That's one thing you could do. If you don't want to speak, don't open your mouth. Don't start talking till you know what you want to say.
How do you say fishing? I don't know how.
You should have asked that when you came to class. Okay? You should have looked it up. Seriously. You don't have a dictionary over there? You have a phone, right? Look up fishing and say in Arabic. Google that. Okay? And see, that's what I'm just showing you guys already have the resources to do some sort of preparation. You don't need me to sit here and say I want to straighten out. I don't want to have to, innovate every word. You can, what is it called? Google Maps? No, Google Translate, right? Yes. Okay, since you said yes, assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالكم؟
الحمد لله والآن.
لا بأس أنا بخير والحمد لله شكرا جزاك الله خير. أنت من أين؟ من أين أنت؟
أنا من ولاية المتحدة.
ما شاء الله. أين بالضبط؟
خارج واشنطن دي سي.
خارج واشنطن دي سي.
نعم.
الحمد لله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. لو سمحتي صوري لي مدينتك.
أنا مدينة في
لا
أنا من درهم وشابل هيل.
وما الفرق بين شابل هيل والدرهم؟ لا أعرف. Too much detail that you can't explain. You get my point? So you either use one or the other.
So أنا من درهم.
ها؟
مدينة
Capital?
No.
What are you trying to say?
مدينة تب.
Tib.
تب.
You said it good last week. مدينة Tib.
تب.
Tib. Ba, ba, ba. Tib. Ba, ba. I'm sorry, English. Capital T-I-B-B. You can put 3 B's. Tib. And that's how it's supposed to sound. Medina to Tib. A city that is a medical city. And while you guys are here, I said I was going to do this. Sorry. أحوالكم. أحوالكم. No, not you. You think about what you're going to say. You think about what you're going to say. وتقاليدكم في بلادكم. Okay? Or you can say mahia. You can say here. You don't have to. But mahia ahwalukum wa taqalidukum fi baladikum. What are your ahwalukum is from the word hal. It's the plural of hal. And taqalid is from the word taqlid. Right? So what are your hal? What is your situation? And what are your habits and traditions in your city? Okay, in your country. Fi baladikum. Now you guys have to answer that. With you two guys helping everybody else out right now. You have 2 minutes. Okay? So it's mentioned taqalid. Min is the beginning part of it. Min ahwalina wa taqalidina أننا Now you guys answer. That we. This is that we. Min ahwalina, from amongst our ahwal and our taqaleed, that we, or is that we, get it, it's implied. Not you. You have to tell me what you're going to say. Describe dirham for me. Did you find it, young lady? What is the word? Let me see. Give me the phone. Let me see the phone.
You use slave?
Oh,
Say the sentence.
You put a football. It's kurat al-qadr. The word you're looking for is fishing, right?
Yeah, I did that word already. This is looking.
Say the samaka is what they wrote down here. This is true. Say the samaka. Yes, but that's you talking about fishing. Sayd is hunting. Sayd the samaka is what you talk about. This is how you say fishing. They told you exactly what I would have said. So you see that thing works. Okay? That's my point. My point is that it works. And I think you can press it and it's going to say sound, right? Okay, so then you guys have no excuse not to be able to make simple sentencing. I mean, like three sentences describing your place. You know? Yani, the first one I told you guys last week is if you're from Durham, and you could just say Durham, you can say إنها مدينة الطب. It's a medical city. ولها كثير من الجامعات. معروف مشهور. It's famous for its colleges. مشهور ل يعني جامعاتها. Okay? Or كلياتها. It's colleges. You know, it's famous for its colleges. واقتصادها, and its economics. Okay? You get my point? No. So ما هي أحوالكم وتقاليدكم في بلادكم? What does أحوالكم mean? Somebody tell me. Don't tell me what the word means. Give me a description. Doctor!
Your condition.
Thank you. Your conditions, your state of affairs, basically. You guys get my point?
No.
Now, what about taqaleed? Describe it. Don't give me a word.
Nice.
Thank you. She saved you.
What did she say?
Ah, good. I'm glad you didn't hear it. What is taqaleed? What is taqleed? Tell me.
Follow. Follow.
What, to follow? So what are your followings? Is that what it is? I don't want you to give me a word. Describe taqleed.
Elder?
Excuse me? You're giving me a word.
Elder.
Huh?
Elder.
Elder?
Go on.
Are you English or Arabic? What is that?
Elder.
أيضا.
عيدكم?
لا elder. Customs.
Oh, عادة. عادتكم. نعم. عادة. No, that's true. It's عادات. You know, that's another word you could have used here. That was a harder word, but I'd rather use these because these words are recognizable from already your vocabulary. They will say ma adatukum. They will say that to you. But we want to start here with ahwalukum. What?
And that's condition?
No, I'm not telling you. There's no one word for it. You describe you. So now you have to do it again. What does it mean, your ahwal? Tell me what it means. What are ahwal? Don't tell me one word. Give me a description. Ladies, what does it mean when someone says, what's your ahwal? Ahwalukum. Excuse me? No, give me some examples. Don't tell me a word.
أنا ساعاتك. أنا ساعاتي هي.
Sorry?
How you spend your time?
How you spend your time? Give me examples. Don't tell me statements.
I shop, I keep children.
Thank you. That's ahwalukum. You know what I'm saying? I want a description. Ahwal is not a word. Ahwal is...
Unstable conditions.
No, don't give me the words. Go back.
What's how you spend your day?
Hobbies.
No, tell me what you were doing.
Taking care of children, she said.
Okay, shopping, nurturing children,
Selling merchandise.
Reading.
Okay, and also ahwal is different. What you just mentioned was some of your taqalidikum. Okay? Ahwalukum would be like, you know, we eat well. We don't have a lot of political strife. Or we do. You get my point? Ahwalukum is like we say, when you walk out, there's gunshots. You know what I'm saying? Or we walk out and it's a real peaceful, safe, you know, environment. We can walk the street. You don't see rebel flags. You know, you get my point? What are the ahwal? What's your hal politically, socially? How is there comfort? Is there safe and you know, or is it not? So that's what when we say ahwal, and that's the difference between ahwal and taqaleed. Taqalidukum is that on Fridays we go to Juma. On Sundays it's peaceful because people go to church. On Saturdays the Kafirs go out to parties, and during the daytime and Saturday we fix things around our house and do things for our family. Normally from Monday to Friday people work in the daytime. That's our taqalid. But because of inflation, that's ahwalakum. And because of the high cost of living, our ahwal, a lot of people have 2 jobs or they work at nighttime. You get my point? As well. From taqlidina, you don't usually like to go out around 5 o'clock because there's usually a lot of traffic. Right? Anywhere in the country. That's taqalid wa ahwal determines that. It's normally peaceful, you know, as long as you don't get caught driving while black. You know, I'm serious, right?
Yeah. Certain areas, yeah.
Certain areas, come on. I done driven from California to here. In every state I was worried. You know, in every state I was worried about getting pulled over. And, you know, my whole thing is, how do I get the insurance paper? The thing. How do you do that? That's like the hardest thing, because you have to reach for the cabinet where they think the gun is. Right? You always got to think about that.
That's true.
One time I got pulled over by a police officer, and he said, "Oh, let me see your paperwork, man." And I looked at him, and he said, "Okay, go ahead." You know, because now, you say that, but as soon as I reached for it, you would have said something. So I didn't move. I just looked at him like, okay. And then he said, "Okay, you can reach for it now." So he's playing games. You get if I'd have reached for it, then he would have reached. But then I didn't reach. Then he said, "Okay, you have permission to you can reach for it now." Then I reached for it. No, I didn't shoot him. But that's the thing. You get my point? That's the whole thing. So I'm just joking. It has nothing to do with exactly, because we're not going to describe that to somebody overseas. That's not what you do. I'm just talking for our purposes here to describe what it means to have your ahwal. What are your ahwal? Okay? For the most part, when there is no violence, we live pretty well. Right? We may talk about inflation and those things like that, but I have still buy coffee. Right? Meaning that I don't need coffee, so it's an excess. So the fact that I'm buying something outside of a necessity shows that we have fadl. Does that make sense? Okay? We're not wearing clothes. Well, we may be. We can get new clothes if we need to. We're not darning our socks. So we have pretty good ahwal. فنحن بخير. أحوالنا خير. والعافية. وفيه السلامة. أكثر الوقت. وها هو المهم. And that's what's important. أما تقاليدنا. As far as our taqalid, فنحن نشتغل من يوم الاثنين حتى يوم الخميس. ثم على يوم الجمعة نغتسل ونذهب ونلبس أحسن لباسنا ونذهب إلى المسجد. وعلى يوم السبت نشتغل لأهلنا ونزور أقاربنا ونشتري أغراضنا. ثم على يوم الأحد أكثرنا نستريحون أو نزورون أو نأكل زيادة الطعام. هل فهمتم؟
No.
فهمت؟ Okay, so what I said, أحوالنا بخير most, أكثر الوقت. Our أحوال is خير, is good most of the time. أكثر الوقت. So we just say أحوال in general. You don't have to describe anything بالضبط. And that's more dignity in saying it that way. Then it says, وَأَمَّا تَقَالِيدِنَا. As for أَمَّا, say it. As for taqalid, because you say amma ana. As for me, say amma ana. As for me, amma ant. Everybody here is going to get 100. Amma ant. ستذهب وتفعل push-ups. You see how we use that term? عشرة منها. So let's see if he knows his numbers. He's still there at Dhuhr. Then we know.
Sure. Oh, 2.
You guys get my point? أما تقاليدنا, as far as our shukran jazakallah khair. And the reason why he did that is because even when we're doing it, we should never lie, right?
No.
So everything, and it makes it more realistic and memorable. Amma, as for, right? Amma. Not amma, amma. Okay. So this is a very important connector. Those are connector words. Connector words are like vital. Okay? And who wants to learn how to say but? You say but is walakin. Say it.
Walakin.
Or you could just say lakin. Okay, but walakin is easier.
Also, أيضا.
Aydan.
أيضا.
Just aydan.
أيضا.
Just say aydan. Just like A. A is an apple. A. Aydan. Aydan. You know, also. Also.
What meaning was that?
Also.
Also.
Aydan.
And as far as
Aydan.
Ahmad.
Amma.
Amma.
أما وأما الذين آمنوا ففي جنات, right? Now, أما, as for. So ولكن. What does that mean?
But.
However, but, you know, what it means is istidrak. Whatever I said now, there's a pause. You get my point? ولكن. You know, أنا أحبكم ولكن. You get my point?
But.
Now, don't just say but though. Understand it as a concept, istidrak. Meaning you caught up to what you said and now you're going to alter it. Okay? You're coming to whatever the speech is and now you're doing like this to it. That's istidrak al-kalam. Lakin. This is good. Lakin, take it that way. هل فهمتم؟
نعم فهمنا.
أيوة الحمد لله. أما تقاليدنا. قولوا.
أما تقاليدنا.
أما تقاليدنا.
أما تقاليدنا.
That's for our custom. فمن.
فمن.
From. So then from. من يوم الاثنين.
يوم الاثنين.
حتى يوم الخميس.
حتى يوم الخميس.
نشتغل.
نشتغل.
في أعمالنا.
في أعمالنا.
We work and we busy working in our businesses, our work, you know, our occupations. هل فهمتم؟
نعم.
نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. Our particular activities and occupations. مفهوم؟
No.
Meaning everybody has particular things to do. Some people are working at home. Some people are working in the street. Some people are working in an office. Some people are working with their hand. Some people are doing all types of things. أعمالنا خاصة.
أعمالنا خاصة.
خاصة is specific, you know, special. Now,
استخدم كلمات الناس اشتغل
نعم اشتغل
ناس اشتغل
لا نشتغل نعم نحن نشتغل
لا افهم
ايوه لا سأفهمك نش يعني نحن النون نحن
نعم
نشتغل قولوا
نشتغل.
نشتغل لا نشتغل أشتغل تستغل يشتغل فهمتوا؟
نعم
فنحن أو أما نحن نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. We all working من اليوم الاثنين حتى يوم الخميس نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. قولوا من يوم الاثنين. قولوا من يوم الاثنين. You know what يوم الاثنين is? Monday. Monday is يوم الاثنين. يوم الثلاث ها؟ يوم الخميس is Thursday. But I don't. You know, it doesn't make sense to explain it that way. You have to think about how much you can explain. His point is that most people work on Yom Juma too, but that's not the point. The point is you're explaining your taqalid. Okay? So what I'm saying is from min taqalidina, so from our customs, is that from yawm al-ithnan hatta until hatta yawm al-khamis nashtaghilu. Because if I say nashtaghilu, it might sound like we're all working together. لا نشتغل في أعمالنا. What أعمال? أعمالنا خاصة. Or whatever particular jobs we all have. You see how I kept it am? I kept it general. So that's why I want you to write that down. نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. نشتغل. Look. نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. Okay, نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. Okay, we work. نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. We work and doing all our particular jobs. So that way you don't have to explain what job do you do, what job does he do, what job does he do. Everybody's now they might ask you what job you do and then you just explain your job. But besides that, نشتغل في أعمالنا خاصة. وأما يوم الجمعة فنلبس أحسن لباس. So then we put on our best clothing. ونذهب إلى الجمعة. And we go to Juma. That doesn't mean we don't work on Friday. It means, but that's what we do on Fridays. That's from our taqleed. We go to Juma. وأما يوم السبت. And on يوم السبت نشتغل لأهلنا وأقاربنا. We work for our families, right? And our relatives. Normally, right? We do family things. Or you could say, وأما يوم السبت فلأهلنا وأقاربنا. فلي, then it is for our families and our relatives. للأهل والأقارب. وأما يوم الأحد, and as for يوم الأحد, فللنصارى الكنيسة ولنا الراحة. Right? And for the Christians, they go to their kanisa. أما نحن, إحنا, we راحة فالراحة. Then we just relax. راحة في البيت. We just relax at home. فهمت? That's general. Do we have to say, well, not me, actually I go to the, shopping, stuff like that? You can say, I do my shopping يوم السبت. That's why you said that. للأهل والأقارب. يعني ونذهب إلى السوق. يعني you can say what you want to say. I want you guys to work on this. I have to go, because I have to go back to Charlotte. I got to go to Charlotte. And I don't got enough coffee. So, Qahwa.
Are there any vendors up there doing anything?
No, there are no vendors because wasn't for that type of thing.
It's just communication.
It's not just connection. No, we're making committees. We made a commitment to work together for 1 year. And to communicate to our community. We want to see. We believe that even though we're all from different religions, okay, we all have the same issues. And if we can communicate the same message in our own ways to the community, then we can have more control over than those people who have the money in the army. Does that make sense? No. Because one of the things we spoke about is that we don't have an army, so we can't take nothing. So we have to move strategically, and what we do have is the hearts. We have the ear of the people, and we can get, that is what can get people in office, get people out of office, and get people working on a particular issue and people not working on a particular issue. That'll get everybody meeting the other person, and like we said, stop using the word African American, okay? And just call yourself African. And don't get so upset when you bump heads with someone from Africa and then there's a misunderstanding. Try to work it out. Again, they're being told the same thing. You get my point? Learn the language. Find out what your ethnicity is so you can describe yourself as that. You get my point? as like a Fulani from North Carolina, if asked, or something like that. Or like he said, he's Congolese, you know, Angolan Congolese, and that thing. So that makes a difference. That's an identity. You get my point? No. We have things that we can do. We're learning Arabic now. Then we move on to Swahili or some other language. It's very easy. It only takes a few months. No. But we just got to break our jaw. You know, that's it. You know, and actually I can teach Swahili and Arabic at the exact same time because they're so similar. You know? And Swahili so even. Say Mimi. Mimi. That's me. Mimi. Mimi. Don't you? Is that hard for you to remember? No. Right?
Mimi.
Now where? Now where? And you?
You. Now where?
Now where? Instead of wow, you say that. Now where? Mimi now where? Mimi now where? Mimi?
Mimi.
Now where?
Now where?
Me and you. Okay? Okay. Habari. Habari, yani. What does habari mean? It's from the Arabic word khabar. Khabar means news, right? Khabari or habari. What's the ghani? What does ghani mean?
Rich.
Rich. So what's the rich news? Habari ghani. Is that Arabic or is it Swahili? It's Swahili Arabic. And didn't I tell you it's the same thing? So instead of saying kha, they say ha with a real ha. Habari.
Habari.
You get my point? So it's the kha is a little bit, and then some people on the coast, they say khabari. Khabari ghani. What's the good news? What's the rich news, my man?
And in Oman and a lot of the Gulf, they mix the Swahili.
That's right, and it's the same language. You know, it's the same language. So you know, you say sita is 6, right? How is 6 in Swahili? Sita. And what's 7? Saba'a. What's saba'a in Swahili? Saba'a. You get my point? After a while, tis'a. Okay, it's tis'a. You know, so you know, it's not too much that it doesn't take much for you to get it, inshallah ta'ala. But the thing here is this is the thing that has to be opened up. You know, the belief that you can do it and everything, and that there's a reason for it, and there's a benefit from it. You get my point? Hey, well, alhamdulillah.
هل سافر إلى في سيارة
في سيارتي
سيارة
في سيارتي نعم في سيارتي.
Yeah, I'm asking about your car.
نعم سيارتي my car.
No, سيارتك.
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 نعم.
You said like cough instead of calf.
Okay.
Yeah, you said instead of calf.
You mentioned is that are you traveling or will you travel?
Yes.
No. So you said deal with people over here to communicate, so you have to travel there?
No, here, you have this. Here, take this, you can show this to the people what they were doing here. If you can give this back to me. This is what we were talking. I want this back, okay?
This that you gave me?
I want this one back. No, you can keep that one, but show it to people. This is the outline that we had laid out.
This is online. I saw this online.
Okay, well then.
Tomorrow is just do a faith.
No, I'm not going tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I know. I said that's what I was concerned about.